Hi, I'm Becca.
Hi, I'm Emma.
And this is
Life in Quarters.
This is side note recording number 2 because the first one my audio was picking up Emma speaking in the background and my record settings were off. But that's okay because it might come for you to know our first side note was like 50% a downer.
It was kind of a bummer.
It's not a huge loss.
No.
It was a bit of a bummer.
Rock on.
Okay, jumping right into this episode, I've been thinking a lot about getting an idea and then committing to that idea and then seeing that idea through because so many good things take time. And I feel like as we get older, the projects that we take on require more commitment, require a longer window of commitment, more steps. Like, for example, I decided I wanted to create my perfect travel backpack. Wow, what a process. Not even done, okay? And I knew when I embarked upon this that I was going to lose the motivation long before I've reached my goal. So we started with me just creating a rough list of what I want in my perfect backpack. Then I did some really bad drawings. Then a huge milestone for me was hiring a product designer to actually put together a tech pack to spec out the whole backpack and put in all the details that I want. And that took a couple of months, like 2 or 3 months. I was not super reliable with my replies. Like, I didn't reply immediately. I have a full-time job and also a bunch of other side hustles to juggle, and this is a passion project. After all, a passion project that is probably going to cost me $10,000 at the end of the day. The product designer alone costs $4,000. And I was going back and forth with him, which was really nice, actually. It was nice to have that accountability because I'd go, I don't care anymore. Like in my own mind, I'd be like, I don't care about this anymore. And then he would ping me and be like, do these designs look right? And I'd have to be like, okay, we can't waste this person's time. Yeah. We can't ghost someone who is counting on us for a paycheck at some point, you know? So I kind of just forced myself to do the thing, even though I didn't care about that thing anymore. And I fully acknowledged that I didn't care at that point. I fully stepped back and I went, at this point, I'm not interested, but I'm going to do it anyways. And that was so essential. And then I hit another wall when he finished the tech pack yesterday, mind you. Yesterday, this man emailed me and he said, hey, did it, submitted it. There you go. Let me know if you have any questions. And I opened it. It was a lot of files. I didn't go through that. I didn't open every single file. That's where I fall apart. I a little bit fall apart on the brawn side of things. And I'm going to tell my husband that we're recording a podcast episode so he doesn't make a bunch of noise in this audio, too. Be right back.
I'll vamp while she's gone. In a totally unrelated subject, because I don't want to talk about cool stuff while she's talking, I started packing today, and I've learned that I don't know how to tape a box in any sort of like effective way. And I've got 2 heavy duty medium boxes full of books right now. And I don't think that they're going to hold up when someone tries to carry them. So if anyone has tips they want to put in the comments of how to appropriately tape a box for traveling, that would be really helpful to me. Because I've got like 10 days to get my whole room packed up. But I got to see the apartment today, like the actual apartment that I'll be moving into. My friends came and it was the same kind of reaction like when the gates of the apartment complex opened. They were like, oh, like it really has that kind of energy. It's got so many trees. And then the only thing I was upset about in this apartment, and I wasn't upset because it's such a superficial thing, but I think I mentioned in the full length episode, was that it was like closed air, closed in hallways on the way into the apartment. And I'm not a super big fan. I'm telling them about the apartment. I got to see the actual apartment today. And the only thing I didn't like
I heard you the whole time.
Excellent. The only thing I didn't like about the apartment was the closed in hallways. And I told everybody, I was like, they're just kind of dorm hallways, but it's absolutely not a reason to give up an amazing, perfect apartment. But I got to see my actual apartment today. And you want to know what? It opens to the outside. And I'm on the corner, so it's got like a little like fenced area, and I'm allowed to decorate in it, which means I can maybe put my plants on it. And the tree that's closest to me is really easy to find. I was worried I was going to have to like hunt it down and like measure to find which tree was closest, just for posterity's sake. And then my parking spot is right beneath me too. So that was me vamping.
That sounds amazing. That was incredible use of vamping.
So excited.
I treated you like a podcast in my head whilst I opened the door and looked at my husband like this after he got ice out of the fridge after I just said, don't be making noise.
Honestly,
and he said, got it. Immediately filled his metal cup with ice.
That honestly,
Suffer for a little bit, man.
that I fear is something I would have done. I would have been like, you did just say no, because I did just do that. You were literally, Becca was literally like, I'm vlogging. And I was like, oh my God, wait, tell me the tea about the tea. And she was like, I'm literally vlogging. I just told you that. And I was like, you did. And I heard it. And
Yeah.
I took it in.
Yeah. This is true. Anyways, back to the thing I was talking
Yes,
about.
sorry.
Enough about you. Goodness. Anyways, my thing, the tech pack. He finished it yesterday. I didn't go through it. There's a lot of information in there that I no longer care about, really.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not locked into the details of it. And my husband, he goes, okay, well, what's the next step? And I was like, finding a manufacturer. And he goes, how are you going to do that? And I was like, by offloading that step onto you. Because guess what? My man, his whole career is related to manufacturing. Is it related to bag manufacturing? No. He doesn't know anything about bag manufacturing. He doesn't know anything about that. He's familiar with pharmaceuticals and bread.
Bread.
Those two things. So I was like, this is a great learning opportunity for you. Glad to have you on board. I look forward to what you come back to me with. And then today I was getting text messages from him and he was like, we got to do trademarking. We got to do this. We got to do NDAs and NNNs, which NN is the NDA version of NNN is the Asia's version of the NDA.
Oh, okay.
Because if you don't do that before you and like patent it before you go to an Asian manufacturer, then they can patent it in that country and then you can't manufacture that thing in the country anymore.
Oh. Would never.
So it's like a
have known
whole
that.
thing.
That's crazy.
And so he told me all this information and I was like, that's so much. So
Yeah.
now I'm hiring a lawyer to help me with trademarking my brand before I patent anything. And I don't think it's really a patent. I think it's the NDA plus the trademark. Because I didn't come up
Yeah.
with anything revolutionary really for the backpack. There's nothing that's like, ooh, it's new technology. Yeah. But yeah, I'm pretty much just like hoping and having him take the reins on the boring pieces of this. Because, listen, I'm just the talent. I can't be doing all that other stuff.
No, I love that, and I do think in general collaboration and like spreading the amount of work to other people that you trust is always something that's going to help. Plus, that accountability is always so helpful. But you're so right, and I'm wondering if it's because we're taking on bigger tasks as adults. You're so right about the fact that we have more long-term commitments and more long-term projects as we get older, and I do wonder if that's like true in a real sense or just true in the sense of like we know things take time now and so we're moving at a slower pace or we're taking on bigger things and it's kind of confluence. But I really felt similarly with my TV show that I'm writing, because for anyone who doesn't know, like writing a TV show and pitching a TV show is a lot of steps, and for me it can really feel like I'm trying to eat the elephant in one bite, especially with the ADHD. Like that's such a factor at the table right now, being like I want to get the whole thing done right now. Like I have such a vision, I have the idea, but it's nearly impossible, and it wouldn't benefit the actual project in either of these cases to rush and to like dopamine and chase that high of like getting the thing done.
Dopamine.
Yeah, dopamining. It's a phrase. Like I don't know where it originated. I hear it a lot on Instagram.
Oh, I'm banking that up here.
Yeah, dopamining. It's what ADHD does. That's why like when you have something you have to do, you start like dopamining for things that will bring you joy in the more immediate sense. I know, right? Crazy. But wait, before I lose my train of thought. With making a TV show, there are so many little steps like that with the backpack, where you're writing the pilot and then you also need to create a pitch deck. And a pitch deck is basically you walking people through, executives through who your characters are, where your entire story is going to go, your entire series, your entire first season. You're breaking it down beat by beat. You're going through all of the characters' emotional arcs individually. You're establishing the setting. You're explaining to people why I'm doing this now, why I'm the right person to be doing it. And essentially creating a pitch deck, like that's a minimum 15-minute long verbal presentation, oral presentation, and then also like a 15-page document minimum also. And so that plus, if you're writing a 30-minute comedy like I am, a 30-page script. So being like, I'm going to have to write essentially what is the length of, I believe, like a master's thesis, 60 pages. I might be totally wrong about that. I should know. My mom just got her master's. Shout out, Mom. But still, 60 pages of work and a 15-minute oral presentation can feel really daunting, especially when you have to create an entire world of it. And since I'm not currently in the position to like hire people, I think this is cool that we both get like this perspective of committing to things, because it's really different. But in The Artist's Way, the book I talk about semi-regularly on this podcast at this point, there's a phrase I love, and you're talking to whatever you believe in, whether it be a god or the universe or the creative force or your implicit like creative energy. You're basically making a deal with like something outside of yourself being like, hey, creative force, I'll handle the quantity, you handle the quality. Just to get you past that point of being like, I don't know how I'm going to get this done. It is really forcing yourself to do it. And especially in like a creative project, it's helped me so. It's literally on my wall right now. It says for my TV show, like, you handle the quality, I'll handle the quantity. And then it just gets you to keep working on it. Because I think too, with creative projects and creative commitments, that block is always that feeling, is so often that feeling of being like, it's going to be bad. So what's even the point in doing all of this work? And I'm never going to finish it. No one's ever going to pick it up. And this, like, that sentiment has helped me in a lot of ways with acting too. And yeah, I think that's the thing that helps me the most with long-term commitments. And my mom is really good at it because she has ADHD too, is like doing that tiny bit every day. So like if you're not like doing a project that like requires collaboration, or like are you like in the position to do that, I think like forcing yourself to do 5 minutes every day instead of like being like, I have to do an hour a week, and that feels too daunting to you, like you're not going to get it done for some reason, you know what I mean? It's like saving money. It's like it is better to put away $5 than none, like not making like perfect the enemy of good kind of thing.
I think that when I think of doing something that you don't care about in that moment, I'm taken back to my freshman year of college where I had this professor for English, and it was his last year teaching. I felt so fortunate to be in his class. Shout out Professor Sarka, RIP. But he was talking about how he needed to grade papers, and people were like, "Oh, are you going to grade them this weekend?" Like, and he goes, "Yeah, I'll actually probably do them tonight." And they go, "Oh, you want to do them tonight?" And he goes, "Well, no, I don't want to grade papers tonight, but I'm going to have to grade papers sometime, and I know that I'm not going to want to grade papers tomorrow, so I might as well do it sooner rather than later." And when he said that, I was like, that is gold.
Yeah.
That is common sense, but it's gold, because I always have waited for waves of motivation to hit me. Like, up until that point, I would do that thing that we like to do where we procrastinate and we wait until the pressure becomes so great that the anxiety of not doing the thing at all overcomes us. And we're like, we got to do it now. And I always wait for that to hit because I'm like, I'll just wait till I'm motivated. I'll wait till I feel like it. When he said, I'm not going to feel like grading papers tomorrow, so I might as well just do it now.
Yeah.
You just dropped some hardcore inspiration on me. I couldn't believe it. And I really think that that's one of those moments that changed my brain chemistry.
No, I think it probably did, because that's such a concept we're not introduced to, especially in like that healthy of a way. And I feel like it takes so much pressure off of feeling like you need to be inspired and have that wave of being like, I just can do this. And I know that I will probably hit a flow, or I probably won't. I had an improv teacher teach me about like the rule of threes. And I don't know if this is an overarching universal kind of idea, but it was basically like a third of the time you should be having a blast and feeling amazing. A third of the time you're just putting in your hours, and a third of the time it sucks. So that also, I felt like for me, really took the pressure off in all creative aspects of being like, oh, this is all beneficial, and a third of the time it should suck. And also, my biggest hack for me recently, and I think there's so many different ways to do this, but I've got this cute little, I don't even know how long it is, like a minute-long hourglass that I just, when I'm about to start something, I flip. And then I'm like, I have to. I flipped the hourglass. I must begin the task. And then I've begun. You know, it's the hourglass has no bearing on how long.
Beginning is the hardest part.
Yes.
Starting is the worst part of any of that process. It is the most difficult thing. It's like my husband. He always says, oh, I'm happy to work out once I'm at the gym. But getting to the gym is really hard and not fun and seems like a lot. Like you have to get dressed and you have to go and then you have to work out. And so that's one of those things that makes me think, what's that? It's a quote maybe by Martin Luther King, but I'm not positive, where it's like taking steps on a staircase that you can't see the full thing of.
I
like
think,
that's
yes, I think you're
about
right.
that.
I know what you're talking about.
But one of the other ways that I have been dopamine mining, you could say,
Dopamining.
is dopamining. Dopamine mining. Stupid. Dopamining. I think that's partly why I have so many side hustles that are completely unrelated to each other. Because when I procrastinate one side hustle or one passion project, I do so by doing another passion project. And so I'm just like bouncing between passion projects, being like, no, I don't want to do that one right now. I'm going to do this one instead. So it's all productive in one way or another. Hee hee hee.
I do that with writing my TV show and then writing poetry all the time. I'll sit down and be like, it is time to write my TV show. And then I've written 4 poems and I've like put in the poems in the poetry book in the right order. And I'm like, damn, I played myself.
I know when I'm frustrated with my own personal platform, like social media content, because I really pour myself into podcast stuff.
Yeah. And it's honestly nice if you are not as inclined as we are to diversify in that way, to have creative outlets that aren't the exact thing you're stressing on. Because I also think when I'm feeling really blocked about my TV show, if I go and I spend like the day doing poetry, I come back and I'm like, oh, again, it's that freedom of being like, one, I don't have to feel inspired. I can just do it and I'm going to create the quantity and we'll like mold it out from there. And 2, like, I got to have my creative juices flow. I don't have to do this one project all the time. And that just gives me, for me, I always have a hard time if I have to do something. If I'm like, okay, there's another option, I can do it more easily. But if I have to do something, I'm like, grumpy about it.
It depends on the brand of have to.
I would agree with that.
Like if it's work related, if it's like the deadline is tomorrow and I know
That's
you
different.
actually would rather jump off a cliff than focus on this thing, but it's about to be the 12th hour.
Yeah.
You have literally no choice. Then I channel Professor Sarka.
Yes.
And I just lock in. You know, I do. I think that's one thing, but
Yes.
if it's just like a manufactured have to, if it's like I have to do this thing because I've decided that right now is the time I have to get it done, there is a really good chance I'm going to have like a creative freeze in my brain and come up with nothing.
Yes.
And I know that for me, that's most likely to happen if it's like 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. and I decide, oh, I want to be a little bit productive before I go to bed. And I'm like, I have to crank out 3 ideas before I go to sleep. And then I'm sitting there on my couch like,
Yeah.
0 good ideas flowing. All of it's garbage. And then I wake up feeling bad.
No, I feel the same way. And I also thought of a different, like jumping point. I have a really hard time committing to learning new skills too, like the long term of that, because that's such a long term, right? Because projects is one thing because there's a certain level of comfort. We understand what we're getting into in a certain way. But I think with like ice skating, I love ice skating, but it gets so daunting when you don't have like a teacher there, or like I would really love to learn how to play guitar, but I'm like, that's going to take so long, and that I don't know how to commit to something. So I don't know how to keep the motivation for something so ancillary to my life going. So that's something that I would love to figure out, because I do think I figured it out with gardening, but I think like learning an instrument or learning a new skill is tough and valuable, but tough to commit
We should talk about that in like a greater episode, maybe. The getting past not like wanting to learn, maybe like how to like a thirst for knowledge. Because I personally don't have a thirst for knowledge. I operate on a need to know basis, and I don't want to know more than I need to know. Like even you have a curiosity about languages.
Yeah.
And that's arguably a need to know. Languages are probably my worst thing I could, I just can't do it.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm going to have children in the future so that they can learn multiple languages.
It's much
and then they
easier
can
for
just
kids.
take care of things for me. My husband, he knows multiple languages. You know what? I can just be a free writer. I can be a freeloader my whole life with languages. You learn no languages. Everybody close to me knows multiple languages. I don't need to stress out about that.
And we like it too. So like you do not,
You do
but
like it.
It's also so good for your brain health as you get older to learn new languages though. So I don't fully say that you shouldn't learn any new languages, but I will say you don't need to learn any new languages.
I learned coding languages.
Ooh, that's cool.
Badly, I'm not good at it, and I only learn what I have to learn related to coding because of my profession.
Are you talking to me? Because I can't hear you.
No, I was talking to them. They know what I said.
I didn't get to hear what you said.
No.
That was rude as hell.
All right, I think that we have come out of this chat with some good ideas and potentially an idea for a full-length episode.
Yeah, let us know
So now,
if you like
I believe
that
it's
idea.
time.
Sorry.
I believe it's time for Shameless Plugs.
Yes. You can find me on Instagram at I am Emma Bruno 2. That's TOO. And on TikTok at I am Emma Bruno.
And you can find me on TikTok and YouTube at Rebecca.Sowden and on Instagram at r.sowden.money and on Substack under The Life Ledger.
And you can find this podcast on Instagram at Life in Quarters Pod.
And you can listen to this podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. For example, where are you listening to this podcast right now or watching it? Shout out YouTube. Bye.